I am so stoked to see my boys, the Ice Warriors, back again. I literally had no idea they were in this until I pulled the DVD out of my Peladon Tales box set and saw them on the cover. They're not the focus of the story, however. Kinda like how last week the Daleks weren't even the focus of Day of the Daleks. Still, needless to say, I was starting things off with high expectations. Will it meet my expectations? Will it be a disastrous flop? Will I ever be happy with my hair and the lighting in a video? The answer to those last two is no. But if you want to find out more of the quality of this story, stay tuned. The Curse of Peladon is the second serial in the 9th season of classic Doctor Who, good old 1972. The 3rd season in a row where the 3rd Doctor is exiled on Earth by the Time Lords. So it starts off with the TARDIS landing on an alien world. Wait, what? What do you mean the TARDIS is working again, huh? Jo is all dressed up nice for a night on the town with Captain Yates? What? I thought she had better chemistry with Benton, but it doesn't matter. I literally paused the episode and checked the box set to make sure I hadn't put in the later serial by mistake. I consulted Wikipedia's episode listing, and no, this is the next story. So, the Doctor just fixed the TARDIS off screen, and we're just supposed to accept that on the spot like it's nothing? What? Oh, and there's no time to think either, because the TARDIS immediately falls off a cliff. Again. It doesn't die, it's fine, but what? No time to think about that, though. Keep on moving. Here's this cool alien design. I wonder what their voice sounds like.
As a member of the Preliminary Assessment Commission,
What is
I have
going
great
on?
hopes that your...
Okay. This one throws you in the deep end immediately, feeling like it's out of continuity. Now, I will quickly spoil that at the very end, they reveal that the whole TARDIS situation isn't all that it seems to be. But just know that if you're watching this for a first time, or even just watching them all in order, this opening will catch you so off guard. It caught me off guard. Like, I had the biggest reaction I had since, I think, probably the Governor chopped off Herschel's head in The Walking Dead, or since Luke Skywalker walked in the end of The Mandalorian Season 2. I was literally just like, what is going on? Anyway, enough rambling about the first 5 minutes. I need to save as much room in this video as possible for me to rave about potentially one of my new favourite classic Doctor Who serials. Seriously, it's quite an understated effort. Like, it ain't a bombastic epic or anything, but a superbly written, small-scale affair with just the coolest story. Essentially, some delegates from a few planets in this galactic federation are visiting King Peladon on planet Peladon, okay, to assess whether or not to induct him into this galactic federation. But not everyone is so keen on this idea. So what we have is not quite a bottle episode, but like something that wouldn't be out of place in Star Wars The Clone Wars. In saying that, there is a ton of political discussion, which might turn some people off, but I love the Star Wars prequels, so I'm all about delegates and policies and trade disputes. And something I did not expect was the sophisticationalizing of the Ice Warriors. They are no longer a warmongering race, or at least these two aren't, but a more civilized people living on Mars. I like the more diplomatic Ice Warriors. To me, they were always too intelligent to be seen as just grunts or foot soldiers, like a generic bad guy army. Like, they had a lot going on, even if they had the worst weaknesses possible. This nice 4-part story is just full of moments that I love. Like an excellent marriage of writing, pacing, and cinematography at this moment where a character is reciting a curse which speaks of a stranger that will bring destruction to the planet right at the exact moment that the Doctor is escorted in by guards. The camera does a quick zoom in on the Doctor's face, and you can see he's quite nervous, so naturally you think, oh no, this group of people are going to assume that this is a sign that this stranger, the Doctor, is the doom-bringing stranger from the curse. Oh no! But in actuality, they just assume that he's the delegate from Earth. It's a small thing, but such an excellent bait-and-switch moment. Other moments I really love are as follows. There's a brilliant character moment when the Doctor snaps at Jo and upsets her a fair bit, which from the Doctor's perspective was fair, but from Jo's perspective, she was just trying to help. But he realizes that he's upset her and like comforts her and then turns the situation around into a compliment. That's something I could never see the first Doctor doing. And even the third Doctor in his early days, like, it just goes to show how his character's grown and especially has developed, you know, empathy for Jo after his initial hesitation way back in Terror of the Autons. What else? There's yet another trial by combat. I say another because I literally just watched John Wick Chapter 4 yesterday at the time of recording this, and they had a trial by combat, and of course rewatching Game of Thrones, there's that many trial by combats in there. I guess people just really love their trial by combats. And I must say, it is a very well choreographed brawl, showing just how far the show has come in terms of, like, one-on-one conflicts. Long gone are the days of the terrible scuffles from the likes of the Aztecs and the Crusade. And they actually do a very excellent job of concealing the stuntman's face. Like, I could fully believe that's John Pertwee there, rolling around, getting body slammed and tackled everywhere. Although it does directly lead into my only real critique of this story, and that's that the episode 3 cliffhanger and subsequent episode 4 opener are very hard to follow. There's several quick cuts that are supposed to convey a lot of information, but there's no time given to soak it in. That and the obviously guilty person responsible just casually walking away in full view of everyone. Also, I had to rewind because it seriously looked like the Doctor just teleported and changed clothes, but it was a new set location, so all the characters were just standing in the same position, and the Doctor's spoken line could have easily been replying to the last line spoken in the previous shot. Very confusing, but it doesn't really matter because it's my only real gripe with this whole serial. And yes, that brings us full circle back to the beginning again, which I would definitely be heavily critiquing if it wasn't retconned at the last possible second. Right before the Doctor and Jo leave, the Doctor surmises that it must have been the Time Lords that interfered and caused the TARDIS to land on this alien world, and that they must have had a mission for the Doctor or whatever, so the TARDIS is not, in fact, fixed. So I guess this clears it of any rule breaking, but that is still a bizarre way to handle it. Like, Colony in Space did that setup so much better. But I can't complain too much because we got away from Earth for a while. Well, that's about all I have to say. I had a great time considering I didn't know diddly squat before going into it. The Ice Warriors were cool, the creatures were cool, the story was cool, and I'm just really looking forward to returning to Peladon in a couple of seasons. In the meantime, however, we have Doctor Who and the Fish People next week. Another one I don't have on DVD, so I get to use that emotion. Hooray! Thankfully it's the last Third Doctor story I don't own on any physical media, but why couldn't that Season 9 box set release in New Zealand already? See you next time.